Okay, so we're gonna go over Sightless. This is a pretty recent box. Came out in September 2024. We're gonna go over the user flag. um, so what we're gonna do first of all is we're gonna have a one of the first things you should do always is do an nmap scan. So what I've done here is I've tagged on the flag A, which is going to get service versions, ports, and basically fingerprint the system. Then we're going to use the speed of T4, do all the TCP ports, and then the IP. Not really a whole lot here. I mean, there's not a lot of findings here. We can see that there's an FTP server that's open. However, just to save time, I tried this. It doesn't allow anonymous logins. There's SSH, that's pretty standard. And then we do have a port 80, so this is probably running this is a website. And we do get a link. So basically open your /etc/host file if you're on Linux and add this to your host file. And then when we actually go here, it's a pretty nice looking website. Not really a whole lot here, right? I mean, it's just kind of like telling you about this service company. I don't know what to say. Probably, okay, so a service, yeah. Now, what is interesting is we do get SQL pad, right? And this link goes to sqlpad.sightless.htb. So add that to your host file as well, and let's actually go to that site, that subdomain. So here, this is pretty interesting, right? We've got what looks like a SQL sort of service here. You can submit queries, and you can view history. There's not really a whole lot here right now. You can't really log in. There's no information on that. There's an about page. But this is software that we can try to exploit, right? So if we look up SQL pad exploit, and we actually go to this one here, and we click on this, so there is an exploit for SQL pad. Pretty recent, actually. Well, I guess maybe not that recent. 3 years ago. So basically, what it tells us to do is click on connections, add connection, do all this stuff, right? It's gonna exploit the MySQL driver, and we put this in the database form field. This is supposed to break out of the form and execute something on the system. So this is the command that we can replace with something that'll help us, and we want to. How about getting a reverse shell, right? Now pay attention that the SQL pad, it looks like they might be having this SQL pad service running in a Docker container. So remember that when we do this. So okay, cool. So let's get a reverse shell generator up. Or I'm sorry, let's do reverse shell. I'm gonna go ahead and start up a I've got a netcat. I'm gonna do LVNP on 9999. You can choose any port you want, so we're gonna do 9999, and I also want my local IP on the Hack the Box network, which in the top right there is 10.10.14.5. We're going to submit that. I'm going to use the bash base 64 just because I've never had any problems with it. It doesn't really matter what you use. And let's follow the instructions. So I'm going to copy this. We're going to we're going to add a connection. I'm going to call this test. We're going to use MySQL, and in the database we're going to paste in this. Let's replace the command with our reverse shell. So, oh, I lost it. Let's that out, paste that in there. Okay, now we're gonna test, and let's see if we got a shell. Okay, cool, we got a shell. So, it says we're root, but take a look at this. This is inside a Docker container, right? If we do who am I, yeah, we're root, but we can't really do anything. There's no user flag there, right? So let's view the etc shadow file to see if there's any sort of stuff. Oh, that's not right. See if there's anything we can get here, right? Okay. So etc/shadow, for those who don't know, this contains all of the user accounts on the system, including their passwords that are hashed, right? So we have a root, which is not really useful to us because I'm assuming that that is for the root on the Docker image, and that's not connected to the host OS. Not really useful to us. However, there's a Michael, right? And we are provided with the hash here. So this hash you can actually copy down. I recommend you copy this down, and you can actually try to crack it using something like John the Ripper, or is it called John the something, the John cracking thing, or Hashcat, right? So I actually have an instance running right now to try to crack the Michael hash. It hasn't been recovered yet, so I'm still waiting on that. However, just to save time, I will tell you that the password is Insane Clown Posse. So we can make use of that, right? So I guess, yeah, so let's go ahead and exit out of this for now. We're going to clear, and let's SSH into Michael at the IP address, right? If we press enter, it's going to ask for the password, and apparently Michael is an Insane Clown Posse fan. That's pretty cool. Me too, kind of. Insane Clown Posse. Okay, now we're in. If we ls, we've got our user.txt. So there you go. Just cat that out, and we've got our user flag.